All these I gotta get. I came from a big shiny new spicy.
What the heck wrong with you?
I can't cut it up. Hold on, fix.
You give me some pizza rolls.
You want pizza too? I got it.
Rolls.
You want rolls? Why? Want my cookie rolls?
Yes, a plate of rolls, please.
Okay. But you want this pizza then?
You're not eating the pizza then?
No, I'm eating this pizza. I got you want it, so here's your plate. You want that? Or the baby's gonna eat rolls.
I want pizza and rolls, please.
Okay. But I'm gonna. There we go. There you go. Baby, get this.
Where are my rolls and pizza?
Are you getting it? That's the roll I got. Baby, yo, please.
Hi, Victoria. Hi, Mandy.
Hi.
Huh?
Hi. I'm going to try and send an email to
4 minutes?
with something I'll be talking about. I was able to take a
I don't you know how many minutes.
No, I'm bringing it back.
See if I can. I don't want to disconnect you all because well, I still have a few minutes, right? So if I get disconnected, don't worry about it. I'll be right back.
How many you give me?
I don't know. I gave you what I felt was right.
You sure?
Let's see if I can send this off to you.
Yeah.
You're stupid.
I'm back here, so I'm looking to see. Okay. Jerson, I like your picture.
Thank you, Professor.
But bear with me, I'm trying to send you all a nice, I don't want to disconnect you guys, but be nice. Let's see if we can work on this out.
That one for you, man.
From here to get this to you all. Because then it'll make a lot more sense to you all.
Okay. Where did you get that from?
Where did you get yours from?
I got mine from church. Nothing. Come on, son.
Over there.
Where?
Where you find it?
Nope. Let's see.
Find it.
No?
I don't know where you guys keep getting it from. Let's go with you got one, and I didn't. I only got one from the fridge.
那把它直接不用了吗？
Out and in again, I guess. Hang in there, guys. I know you're there. I'm gonna close and come back, Alondra.
Okay, Professor.
All right, just let them know if I'm trying to, I thought something aside.
No, it didn't know mà.
This should work.
Hey, why you chugging milk? What's you bro? Give me my roll, bro.
The pizza baby. Oh,
Where my roll?
oh no.
I'm going to make a me roll, bro.
Roll like that.
Perfect. Oh, see.
Be careful. They realize they're really hot.
How long you make it?
30 minutes.
I could cook.
Probably.
Yo, boy. Give this.
Maybe and then lunch. People go to
What is this? The expo marker in here? The expo marker. Get this to the E.
Sure.
Yeah.
Mà. Hả? Hmm? No te cubres pues for you.โอเคว่าแม่ Get your extra bar.
Okay, good. I was able to send you a QR and a bloom for discussion because you're also going to be working with this impact. So could someone check to see if you got it in your email? I was able to go through the tool and send it. Who has available his or her email to go into right now?
I
Okay,
have it.
great, awesome. So the reason I wanted to get this out to you before I look at my chapters today is because it will help you with your questions. And it's not just here to help you with your questions, like I said, for this class, but for when you're doing your TPA. We're supposed to talk to you all about the TPA, even though it's on rest right now because of COVID. So pretty soon, if not this class, the other classes you sign up for will be focusing on developing plans for QAR. But the foundations of all this is in this course is that all the theories we talk about, and now today we're going to talk about why preschools are popular, which is your chapter 10, is to tie up things for you. Why am I taking this course? What is my objective? I go from here after this course. Why will this course be my foundations for the other classes? And besides the theories, how have I been prepared for that? And I'm hoping that as I look at the syllabus, follow it and everywhere it talks about.
That's my dog.
Where it's talking about scholars and presentation skills, scholars have translated those into the theories. I could actually cover quite more theories, but what we will do is see how they talk over with each other and how that will help you. The other thing that I am looking at is the fact that when you do your lesson plan to present to each other on this from this platform, I would like that you use these questions that I sent you in regards to Bloom taxonomy and how we cross over this QAR. QAR is really good for early childhood education. And this QAR was developed by a university where we were insisting all over, it's universal, that educators use the Bloom taxonomy higher level of questioning technique. And you have done that, you have studied Bloom taxonomy. And if not, I have the entire package here. But more than anything, I could go over some of the verbs for you, but first of all, I'd like to review this to you. Take some time, since you already will have this chart, so that you can see how the two balance each other. I am not ignoring Bloom's, because that's forever. All across your Charlotte Danielson's, I think I sent you the 4 domains. It was able to come up clearly for me. So I was able to screenshot and send it to you. I hope you also got that. So with the 4 domains, Bloom taxonomy and QAR, those are the 4. And usually you mention this when you're discussing in your future classes. These are the 4 principles that you must lean on when you are preparing as you move ahead into classes for your area, which is early childhood. You are still, I think, taking gen eds, or you're done with gen eds. If you're done with gen eds, how do you focus? As you focus and your professors give you assignments, ensure that any project, any presentations will engage these questions of Bloom at the higher level. But QAR spells it out a little easier for you and for you to see how we catch your children thinking. You will gain no points or very few points if you maintain your questions at the very low level of Bloom's taxonomy, which is knowledge and comprehension. But then if you tie in QAR and see how they marry each other from that chart I sent you, you will understand how easily it becomes. So let me first, and if you don't have to take notes if you looked up Bloom's taxonomy, but I want to make it make sense to you, okay? The taxonomy of Bloom has been simplified from knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, which is the 5th highest level. And they've talked about it in this simplicity for early childhood as remembering, understanding, it's a comprehension, applying, application, analysis was never changed, evaluation was never changed, and then creating. Creating is that high level where the child now uses all his knowledge that you taught, the skills you taught, and then they arrive at their own conclusion, their own explanation. Isn't that what we want to check? That's checking for understanding as well. So I just want you to pay close attention because I am going to screenshot it. You can see this that I have, this good package that I use for my beginning students as you move into the area of early childhood. I will also screenshot and send this to you. I was hoping to get it scanned at the office, but I didn't go in yesterday to my other university. So I'm doing my best with screenshots. And if it's not legible, I can send it when I can scan it to you. It's something I want you to keep. But right now, let's talk about it because I want to see that in the lesson plan. Let me just say thank you for joining me. We're moving into our midterms pretty soon. And I know that today is Thursday, so Tuesday, then if you remind me, I can give you a little bit of ideas to what your midterm will be. It will be maybe 5 essay questions that will be taken from what I've done in my lectures with you, but we will do that. So I'm going to ask all of you to just, because I tend to want to cover so much, on Tuesday, you remind me to talk more about that. Okay, but right now let's excitedly talk about your lesson plans. How many of you are almost ready to talk to me about the type of lesson plan you will choose? If you will choose a storybook or another subject area, what is it that you have decided? Let's talk individually with me, and your classmates can share. Person, if you can help me with this, what is it that you're thinking in terms of your lesson plan?
I still haven't decided yet, but I think I'm leaning towards a storybook.
Okay. And did I by any chance give you your dates for this? Because I've shifted some stuff around. Did I give you the date? This is June? No?
How do I write this?
Not yet. Okay, so because on the 16th, I want to talk to you more about subjects of how we're going to present our lesson. I will tell you that the lesson plan, we can do the presentation on the Tuesday, the 23rd. So you will have enough time to develop, because today I'm going to focus on that instead of covering 2-3 chapters. So on the 23rd, 302-1 will be your lesson. I will want it for you to put this on a PowerPoint. Okay?
So what date is that again?
Who is this? Oh, Latoya. You can feel free to tell me if you need an extension. Let's shoot for 23rd You have the 23rd or the 25th. Would you all prefer the 25th?
You mean 23rd of March or the 23rd?
Of February? Would you like 25th of February, or of course, because that will be your last week, the 8th week, or do you want me to move it into March? I want you to enjoy preparing this lesson plan. So do you want to move it, because I want to give you a midterm on the 23rd. Would you prefer the March the 2nd or Thursday the 4th of March? I'm flexible with all of you.
Well, you smart.
Oh, go ahead.
March what?
Something
March 2nd.
March the 2nd or something like that.
March 2nd or 4th? What do you all prefer? And then we'll vote on it, because I really at this point want to make sure you do a good job. March 2nd, March 2nd?
The 4th.
Okay.
I get my teeth pulled that like the week before. So I would prefer the 4th.
Okay. Is everybody good with the 4th? Yes? So because I want you to do a nice
Yes, the 4th. Yes. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna scratch it from here. And then we have enough time to talk. You can ask me to clarify, because you never get tired. And then let's talk about a midterm on Tuesday, on the 16th. Talk about midterm. Midterm. And then on the 23rd, you should have your questions that you will know. You'll know. So we've decided that for your lesson plan, you're going to have PowerPoint. You're going to choose. Some of you may choose from a book. I found out from Jerson you're thinking of a book. Victoria, what is your take on this, Victoria? Are you thinking of a book or a theme or a topic or what?
I'm thinking of a book, and you said it was based off like any children's book we wanted to pick, right?
Yes.
I think I have a book in mind.
Okay, that's good. Let's go with Alondra. Alondra, what are you?
Shut up!
Yeah, I think also with a storybook.
Okay. Remember, the reason I'm asking is because I want you to. If you have any concerns and if you don't know what direction to take, okay, that's why you're learning. You're not experts. You'll never get to be experts, even when you are teaching 50 years like this master. You will always be learning. So I want to be your support, your assistant, so that when you do plan your lessons for EdTPA, it's not going to be anything that you do not that you're not familiar with. You will have the ideas of how to do it. So we have Evie. Let me go with again Alondra. Latoya, what's your take?
Well, I was thinking what I wanted to know, instead of a storybook, like can it be like arts and craft, like have to make something?
Sure. How to make, of course. Now the arts and craft and how to make, and every time I explain something, I hope it helps the others, because that may come up too. When you're doing arts and craft, it must be based on something. Are you going to have it take off from a lesson per se, a season, a celebration? Will you be thinking about a specific theme to have them do arts and craft? Usually we connect arts and craft with the tactile, but you want to make, and that's good, an arts and craft perfect project. Talk to me, Latoya, so we can share with your classmates. And I can
like I haven't decided what art and craft, but something like as materials they would need, they would be using like their motor skills, cutting, stuff like that, like putting things together, like I'm a little bit all over the place, but this is something like an idea that I came up with.
Okay, now let's choose, let's do this to make it, the idea is great, but think of something that you will base it, because you have to make sure that you are Focusing on an objective. Remember, you have to have your
Right, like it was done like 3 buttons. It would be count. Like,
okay. So you're doing it as a math project, as a math activity. Because you need to stipulate your subject and the title. That's why I'm trying to guide you through that. So think about that. It'll give you food for thought. And I'm sure that once you decide what, if it's math or science or reading or language arts, you need to tie it down to a subject and then find the standards that will go. Okay. All right. Good. Good, Latoya. As I'm looking at the screen, I'm also seeing your names at the same time. So we had Jen, Victoria. Victoria, did you talk to me about yours? So had Victoria, Alondra, Latoya, Diana. Would you like to share with us right now?
I'm still not exactly sure, so just hearing what everyone is saying is kind of
okay. That's the idea. That's the purpose of this. Evie, are you able to share with us?
Win class, win class, win class.
I'm kind of going with
Win
the
class.
storybook. That's kind of like the easier
Win
part
class.
of what I'm trying to do. But
Class.
I was thinking about doing something with movement for children, like an activity with this movement.
Nó có
Like
iPad mới know mẹ.
a small little like yoga type of thing, and I can incorporate like how movement helps children learn about their body parts and how their gross motor skills would work. That's kind of where I am at right now.
Good. Always focus, students, on what is my purpose, what is my goal, what is my subject, what is my title, and then I'll look at my standards, I'll plug those in, and then when I write my objectives, they will be worded as students will understand, students will be able to create, students will be able to express, students will be able to they will be able to do. So think about those that will follow once you state your standards. Okay, those are the steps that you will take. Thank you. Sarah, are you with us? Sarah?
Yes.
Right on.
For my lesson plan, I was thinking I could do something about like helping the students like identify like their 5 senses and like being like, oh, like what do you smell? What do you like hear? What do you see? Like I could do something like you can match like what you see with what you hear, like something like that.
Good. And so think of bringing in realia stuff because there will be smelling. I want to hear that you will either mention that you would bring in a basin of fruits or veggies or whatever they can smell or sense. You know, different scents. Make sure that they're not strong smelling stuff. But every lesson plan that I ask you, my dear students, to present, you plug in the real thing, the real objects by saying this is what I'm going to bring. You can't bring an elephant, but you can certainly bring objects.
Your man? No.
Or if you were doing edible stuff in the classroom, you can bring individually sealed edible stuff. Okay, so we also want to make sure that that's the project. The 5 senses are amazing because every lesson should be geared towards stimulating and having them use their senses. Sarah, let's see if I called Ariel. Share up with me, please.
I'm thinking about doing a lesson with a storybook. I'm not too sure about what story I want to use, but I'm definitely looking into different books. Is there any recommendations? I know that you were talking about some award, but I can't remember what the award that you were talking about was for some storybooks that you were.
I want every single one of you never to walk away from any of your early childhood classes without remembering. The Caldecott Award books are geared towards children in the primary grades. early from 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8 is no longer considered a child book. And Caldecott Award books are judged and receive the medal. There's a medal and an honor. Every single year from 1934, I want to say not 36, every single year a children's book, is given this award. It's voted upon by adults. This is one of the biggest criticisms we have. No children, no young adults are included in that. But if you just go into your Google now that you don't have to go to the library to get the updated list. Go from 1930, I want to say 34, not 36, to present. Google that and say the Caldecott Award books. And then you go Caldecott Honor books, because some of them never got the award, but were given an honor. And it's one a year. And each year they give you the type of that award. Okay. You also see the invitation on the cover of the book. It has a medal looking sticky on there, like a ribbon, and it says Caldecott Award or Caldecott medal book. Charlotte's Web, all those books. So the books that don't get voted on for pictures, for illustrations, for paintings, whatever. Remember, no content is considered when they vote for a Caldecott book. So Newberry books, which you are not going to, unless you're going to teaching, for 4th grade and up. Now it's going to be for 3rd grade and up, because 3rd grade is considered for the same team. So remember the two, Caldecott, Newberry. If I were you, I'd be so curious. I'd go right into those lists and start familiarizing yourselves with it. If you have children of your own, I know you seem all very young, or siblings, you want to also expose them to this. If you go to Barnes and Noble or Half Price Books, wherever, you will see the books immediately because they're the front. But I just also want to ensure that I'm not just pushing books that have gotten because remember, it's subjective. These members vote universally and these books win. But there are other books that are fascinating, that teach to the senses, that are fiction or non-fiction, that are maybe not as exciting with their illustrations. But remember, Caldecott won because of the illustrations. But what about the content? So you want to be open. Like some of you have sent messages to me, Miss Master, I really love this book. We use it in our daily schools. I read it to my little sister or my mom read it to me. And it's so exciting. I would like to use that book. I said, of course, this is definitely an example of that have been sending me a message about those extraordinary books. So I'm going to limit you to another book. Does that answer the question?
Hello, is your camera on or off?
Yes.
On or off?
I was just looking online and I found a website with
You on?
The
Your camera.
Caldecott medal. They have that, and then they have the Children's Literature Legacy Award. It has all of these different awards, and I'm gonna drop the link in the chat if anyone wants to use it.
Yes, and don't forget that we have Loretta King also has an award. I just have not looked to see what levels she took the covers and if those books can be watered down for the young children. The reason I always address Caldecott is because children are fascinated with illustrations. And you can even tell a story just with illustrations. And all these years I don't know when Loretta King started to award books. She's famous for his wife, and I'm very happy that was also instituted. We have the Hebrew books, we have the Catholic Book Awards, but I don't address those not because I prefer Caldecott, it's because the one definite
Is your camera on or off, little boy?
specific illustrations is the Caldecott. So content for third and up would be awarded Newbery because Newbery deals with the content, the storyline, the lesson, the theme, etc. You see the difference? Even if they will have illustrations, the Newbery Award is not granted for illustrations.
I can't help you.
I would have loved to know that there is an award book out there giving you as
I know she's an after class.
a suggestion in your papers. Not for this class necessarily, but in future as creative and innovative teachers. When are we going to come up with an award for children's books that will consider both illustrations and content for all grade levels? And I've always dreamed about that. I belong to
I don't know.
it's not just from those, but theories.
One in the night. Oh my God.
But I also belong to a recreational book club. And what we've done is throughout the year, we've scheduled ourselves. Like the first 2 months of the year, this year, we're going to just look at children's books. And we're going to combine, if we were giving awards, illustrations and content, and which ones would supersede those that won just the cover cut because of illustration. So we are working on this because I'm fascinated with books. So, and I want you to read also. So you can join your clubs like that. However, right now to bring us back to this, be open. Doesn't have to be an award book. But make sure that it is something that you can plan your staple, your goals, your standards, your activities, your objectives. Remember, the lesson you teach, you're not used to lesson plans. When you are building a house, the blueprint would be your standards, right? But who builds the house? The carpenter and his helpers. The tools that he uses are your materials in teaching. I'm just comparing it for you. So whenever you're teaching, the ultimate goal for this carpenter is to build this house according to the blueprint, right? The ultimate goal of you teachers, if I don't get anything across from today, is that the goal is I have stated my objectives. And while I am teaching, while I'm hammering, I'm putting up this wall and making sure it's all sealed. While I am teaching, my goal, my objective should be reached. My objective should be reached by the time I am done teaching this particular skill with children. See, focusing on the theme. Is it going to be characters for the young children? Is it going to be a moral in the story? So my objectives will say, after through this lesson, the students will learn this specifically. They will be able to do this. They will be able to explain this. That's the cognition, right? Because if your objectives cover the do, the thinking, the cognition, it's understanding. Cognition is understanding. They will understand, and they will be able to do it. It's the tactile, and if they're able to do it because they understood it, it is going into the cognitive domain. And I'd like to wrap this around for you all because you cannot disaggregate these areas when you're doing lesson plan, and then it becomes just a headache, a colossal, anxious, anxiety situation. I would like that our teachers enjoy creating a lesson plan. And I will be honest with you, I have to, and you can check with your colleagues, your professors, how many teachers enjoy writing lesson plans. Well, if they don't, it's because they have always had this misnomer This is a terrible task. Once I create it, I don't have to look at it, and I just have to submit it to my principal and or my AP or have it posted on my bulletin. No. And you won't have to develop as lengthily as you're doing now. You will have your grade level teachers to work with. But right now, it's the enjoyment of you, and you have to. In England, I had to do 2-3 pages of a lesson plan per lesson, per subject, they call it. And when I came here and I finished whatever I was doing for my other masters, and I went into the public school system, and I noticed that they were just, everyone sat and did the same thing for the whole week with my, and then sometimes I felt blocked in, but that's what the administrators asked for. But I think that has taken away some of the joy of the individual teacher creating his or her lesson plan. The only important thing, the most important thing is that you understand teaching standards, why you are given the standards, and thus from those standards, you can extrapolate the skill that you're going to teach, and then the strategies you will come up with that will help you teach those skills, and then you're able to assess the students to see if they master it. And those are the steps of lesson. And I don't know ever that I felt
don't wink at me.
badly creating a lesson plan. It was mine. I was putting my heart and soul into it. And then I noticed now that it is a general lesson plan that they're asking the grade level.
You're not supposed to ask me. You don't go math test.
Because you meet the responsibilities of supporting the administrators. It's taken away.
There's no parent by them. Stupid.
And it's led the majority of the teachers to see lesson plan as a task that must be submitted every morning, every Monday morning, to be in compliance, rather than a lesson plan is my blueprint. You see, teachers, if I have gotten this across to you today, and you think about it,
Can you stop your YouTube video and listen to your teacher?
and hopefully you will see. I'm not saying don't plan with your teammates. You have to. The grade level teachers, you have to do that. That's the trend that CPS and I don't know what the suburbs do. Always want to be in compliance. Don't understand. But if today your grade level people talked about teaching or whatever, you have whichever tools are going to be more accessible and useful. You within what you and your grade level teachers,
No, not two and a two and one and a two.
inertia, your excitement about teaching that lesson will cause you to look for strategies that will make sure that children learn the skills. And that's all it's about. And then your objectives are stated there. And if I'm observing your class, so you're all over the place, you are never going to adhere to that objectives or those objectives. And even at the end of the lesson, everybody's all over the place. And I don't know what your objective, how you try to meet your objectives. If you're going to New York, you're planning your trip. And I always tell student teachers this. What's your objective? To arrive in New York during the day after 2 days of travel. Your plan then, that's your objective. But in your plan, the strategies that you're going to use, where you're going to stop, how you're going to fill up gas, how you're going to feed your family, how you're going to stop at the rest stops, so if you're going to stay at the hotel. That's all the different things that will be happening to reach your goal to arrive at New York, hopefully in one piece with your family. And that's how you look at it. State your goals. State your goal. The goal is general. What are the standards? What are the skills embedded in those standards? What are my objectives? And then I will create this beautiful lesson plan. And you get so used to it that when you're in elementary school or early childhood and you have your grade level teachers planning with you.
What are you doing?
What? That's a great objective. That's a great standard. I have this idea.
We don't got
I
some
come up with
bread.
these
One bread right here.
activities.
What are you
Can
doing?
come
You
up
washing
with
dishes?
the assessment? Could you come up and we're doing it together? And believe it, I love to brainstorm with my colleagues at the university where I'm the chair.
What are you doing?
Amazing ideas together.
Why you need
Rather
the
than
red
just
for? What are you
knowing
wiping?
When I teach about monarch butterflies.
What are you
First
wiping?
teaching what's our objectives, where they come from, the science, how they go from the stages of to become a butterfly. But then within there, how are you going to do it? To bring these babies to be so excited. So I've given you a lot of background information on the lesson plans, and I'm not tying you down to telling you exactly what you're going to do, surprise me or surprise your classmates. But as you create your report and you talk about the materials, bring it to them. If you're going to put in a song or a poem that is tied in with it, but you're also concerned about phonemic awareness at this stage. If you want to sing it or play it for us during the lesson, this is a small group, so we have the luxury of doing that. So, question, talk to me, because I tend to go into too much talking in this group, because it's always a short time, unlike my 4:15 class. So talk to me. I don't want you to wait till the end of the session and the semester. I didn't get what Mr. was saying. That would be unfair. Tell me, are these things helpful? Let's narrow it down to lesson planning. Is it helpful now for you to understand what the lesson plan is all about?
Professor, I just want to say, I think maybe you had called on my name, but my internet broke, so I had to go on my phone. But I'm just thinking about what I'm doing still, and I just wanted to let you know I'm excited to hear my name.
Sure, Hannah, I didn't see your name there, but that's fine. You did catch what I was explaining just now.
I heard everything. I just, my internet went out for a second.
That's more important than you think, because right now I am not tying you down. I just asked for people to express in case I could add some information for you. But is everyone now a little bit clear on why the syllabus requires one lesson plan? And you'll be doing numerous of them. Trust me. As they prepare you for EdTPA, I've talked about those classes even after I retired as a teacher. And you will find that you will meet your colleagues, you will meet with them, you are going to develop these long EdTPA friends. But if you have an idea and you have the Bloom's taxonomy questions, and I promise you that I'm going to send these. You can look it up, but they give you the keywords to introduce your questions. That's what when we corrected EdTPA, like I said to you, I don't correct anymore this year because I am so boggled down with my job as a chair at another university, and I just and I'm retired from CPS as well as registered, and I stay alive because I teach. But I really wish I could continue correcting EdTPA because it's so time consuming for me. And but as I did it, the questions that our students asked in that short video that you will be sending for your portfolio, a lot of the judging
Miss Hilma, are you gonna you did throw a little through, Mammy?
came because
There's nothing in here.
questions
I know.
at the level
Is that what?
of Bloom's taxonomy. So I caution you ensure that when you ask questions, yes, you can have two knowledge or two remembering questions. That's the lowest. And then the second level is comprehension.
There, got it. Where's get another cut, boo boo?
Still the
I'm gonna
second
cut your wrist.
to the max. If you bring them to
You want some?
application,
You put the gummy.
will not cover chapters today. I want to make sure I get this embedded into this session today.
Professor,
Yeah.
So I keep trying to open up the template that you sent over for the lesson planning, but it won't open for me. I guess I maybe the application.
Some people could, and some people couldn't. Some were able to open at their jobs. I'm gonna do and remind me, as I was so busy getting this to you. I will open the plan, take a screenshot, and then attach it for you. I think that's going to be better. Send it to D2L, others will be able to open it through D2L, but not through their emails. So is that what would make it better for all of you?
That would be really helpful.
Yep.
Okay, I will note that for sure right now, as I have a list of things that I'm doing, and one of you take it upon yourself that just after I say goodbye to you, I go in and do that, because I don't forget. It's just that I go into other activities and then I tend to
Go to class.
It's a very simple outline. For the HBA, it's going to be pages and pages long, because you actually, I call it, it's like a running web. You're saying every single thing you're doing. But they have good teachers teaching for HBA operation. Yeah. They're all into it now. We piloted it in
这么疯了呀，这个窿窿哎，这个窿窿 make you twins with your friend.
Then how you putting the portfolio together. I'm not worried about that. I just feel bad when I say go do a plan and you don't have a lesson plan and you don't have the reason why we ask you to do lesson plans. And I hope that if I've accomplished that, that's great. Okay. So let me go into the comparison of blooms and using catch them thinking the children. For example, let me start from the very bottom, and you can listen. You don't have to write these notes, but as you go into the BR comparison and like I said, once I can as a screen,
You in class, man.
Scanning, I won't be at the office till Wednesday because of this crazy inclement weather. But I promise that the screenshot should help you over it in return. So as we talk about the lowest level with calling specific, just because you'll have this in mind, or you can download it.
Mama, turn off the camera. Go pee on
Just
it. Oh,
listen.
camera pee, huh?
Recalling specific information and or recognizing it. So your lesson, your keywords for that very low level, and you shouldn't have more than 2 questions on that, is recognizing. Did you recognize setting of the story? List the name. Tell us the names of the character.
Bye, can you buy him? Have him buy. Buy.
In terms of math, if you're asking, because all these room taxonomy applies to math and all subject
What should say your name?
areas, of course. You count 1, 2, 3. You're able to match. Those are still levels. Select the red and put it on the right side. Select the green and put it on the left side. Again, list the names or the size of the circles or squares or triangles, whatever. List. That's very low level. And so those are the words. But if you think of who, what, when, where, and how, those are low level. So that's your remembering. So what happened when the dog went on this and after them, because the story told me that. Well, they don't have to go beyond that. They're just depending on the author. So that's the low level. You remember? That's why they call it remembering. We call it knowledge in the higher level as we speak of Bloom's taxonomy. Okay? There are other taxonomies. Bloom is the most comprehensive. The next level, at the higher level, and you will understand it as you read it, explain. Explain or understand, give the given information and explain it in your own words. That's a little higher level. because they're interpreting. Those are the words that they use. Interpret what the author said. Exemplifying, give examples, summarizing. That's considered the second level, comprehension. And here for the younger kids, we call it understanding. Can you classify the reptiles from mammals? You know, and we already read just now about the difference between mammals and reptiles. Can you compare them? Explain this. So those are the words that you will constantly hear when we are referring to the second highest level, the second lowest level, which is understanding and comprehension. Is it making sense to you as we go up the stairs? Okay. Applying was not watered down. Applying is also in the knowledge comprehension application. Now, the child has read the story, and now he needs to actually use the information, but in another familiar situation. For example, let's say you read the story Too Many Tamales, okay? And the child knows that what tamales are, and this is the story where the child took the ring from her mom's bureau and wore it, and then they were in the kitchen doing tamales, and they got caught in the masa or the dough. But then you're asking them information so that they can come up with other concepts and theories in a new situation. And I remember my mom didn't make tamales, but she made bread. And I know that I like to put my hands in the dough and stuff. So they're relating, they're applying this to something else. Or if the story is, did you ever get caught under heavy rainfall like these two children did, and what did you do, and when you got home, what's the first thing you did? No, they're applying to themselves and their experience what they have just read about. Okay, that's bringing it to the third level. And the word you would use here would be listing again, executing, doing. Can you show us? And can you implement what you're telling us in your, by writing a paragraph and explaining it? Okay. Then the other level, which is bringing us to the fourth highest level, no, the fourth level, is analyzing. Now they're going to take the whole and break it down. Breaking information into parts in order to explore understanding and relationships. What does this all mean? It's all verbiage, right? Breaking information down to its components. For example, okay, we talked about
Oh, so cute.
Yeah,
let me give you some information.
Yeah,
Causes of rainfall. This is a very second grade science lesson.
And here's a little cloud.
We know that when the clouds are gray and heavy and the sky turns dark, it's going to rain, right?
And here's where
But we also learned in our science lesson last Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever
Oh
day,
my gosh, so cute.
is that the
So cute.
formation
Oh my
of
God.
clouds come
Now
from
did that
evaporation
Yeah, after this one.
of
Put this
liquid.
this
When
is
the
my
rain
teacher.
came
Put
to
this in my thing.
those pumps of the water all over the
You mean
place,
you?
and you had to be careful how we stepped out of the car. What happened to that water? Remember when we talked about that? Now we're bringing this apart. We're analyzing that story. Yeah, it dried up when the sun came out. Well, that's what we call evaporation. We showed it to you, right? When we boiled water, and we saw how the hot water got hotter and hotter. That steam rose, it didn't go down. So that's what happens to the water on the earth. Remember we said 2/3 of Earth consists of water. Well, the water goes up from the oceans, the rivers, the ponds, the lakes, and as the hot sun heats it up, it goes up and it forms clouds. We did the experiment. Okay, so we want them now to think about that. And we're asking them now, deconstruct. We want them to, let's see what words we could use here. Outline, explain, integrate, give examples of what happens when clothes are hung out in the sun and then they suddenly dry. The moisture, it goes into the air and it goes up into the clouds. And when the clouds are so heavy, we're tearing it apart now. It's just like when I take this cotton ball and I dip it in the water or the sponge and it's so saturated. Use the word saturated. That's the academic language. That there's no more it can hold and then it starts dripping. That's how the clouds, when they become saturated with moisture, they release it and that's when we get our rainfall. Now we just did analyze all that together. We analyzed it and we're asking the questions using the verbs that will lend them to be able to explain it. So what are the attributes? Oh, too many clouds. They're now saturated like picture, and then it has to release the moisture, and that's when we get the rainfall. Or what we just also spoke, teacher, is that the water is heated constantly by the sun, and it's pulling it up into the air. It's called evaporation. And then sometimes though there's no rain, and it's so dry, and we wish it would rain. And then you said that it also pulls water and moisture from the river and the sea and the Michigan, yeah, but not enough to cause rain. So we're now having them talk about it and explain it. And so they're using attributes. They can even do outlining in this particular level of analysis. And a simpler example would be that you taught them the difference between a frog and a toad. That's very second grade. And yes, they are from the same family, right? They're not mammals, they're reptiles. They also are similar. A lot of differences. Besides, one feels very cold, ice cold, the frog. And they also lay their eggs differently. So now we're analyzing the differences and the similarities using a chart. A T-chart suffices. The Venn diagram sometimes complicates it for them because of their vision muscles and all that. So I think by second grade, the Venn is okay, but T-chart's very easy. So now they are analyzing that there is a difference, not just the size of the frog and the toad, how they lay their eggs. One is in the linear way and the other clusters. One is ice cold and the other one is warm and it's bigger and it's crusty and all that. So those are where you start analyzing depending on the lesson that you're teaching. And then now we bring them to the evaluation level where they're justified. They're going to justify everything they read. It's off, and we'll see how this compares with your QAR. They're now making judgments. They're using the materials you gave them to show what they have learned. They're actually using everything the author said and beyond. Their prior knowledge is coming into play, and now they're putting in their.
You need a chair, no?
They're actually evaluating what the author had said, and then they use it's almost like when you're doing your hypothesis for a paper, and they're critiquing, they're judging,
on the side,
they're detecting things that the story said that was not said in words by the author. And I could give you that example.
Give me
the canoe. Did I talk to you about the canoe story? Alondra, Hannah, Ariel, did I give a comparison, an example of a canoe story? No?
Yeah, the one with the girl and the brother.
That's a story that mentions something when we did evaluation, right? Of there were no adults. There were no safety vests. And one of the other evaluation response that a child gave to the state of Illinois, this was when third grade was doing this ISAT test. They said, yeah, but there are children who go in canoes all the time because that's how they go to school. They live in villages and they're used to swimming and fishing. So we don't understand why she didn't know how to swim. And maybe that the author wanted us to think like that, but mother and father were not there, but they knew the little brother knew to swim, and they went on and they got a 5 that result. But that's where this evaluation gives them the point. It's a higher level of thinking, and so as they create, it's now shown that you understood. That's part of your assessment. You're going to generate, you're going to put things together, you're going to illustrate, you're going to build with the sticks or the letters or whatever to show that you understood. You're going to label maybe the frog and the toad. Anything that they now, after they learned the lesson, they're going to show you, the teacher, that they captured the skills that you were teaching them, or the skill to that particular lesson, which means you have arrived at your objective. The students will be able to explain, to create, to understand, and produce and make a picture. This is what this is all about. But then I sent you a cross check on QAR. And QAR is question answer response. Okay, a relationship. Most of our teachers refer to these responses. When the QAR was invented or brought into education practices, we looked at what the QAR stated. We'll compare this with what you just heard about Bloom's taxonomy. It's right there. So there are the levels right there. If you want to write this down, but you have it. You'll have it in your screenshot or in your email. It's right there. And we're not doing the steps. Knowledge, like we just did with Bloom, but work with me. The lowest level is right there. The second lowest is I'll think and I'll search. That's comprehension, understanding. The fourth one is author and me. I'll use what the author gave me and I will come up with my answer. That's because I have to have previous knowledge on it. And then the final one, the curative level, is on my own. So you see how these levels in QAR match the Bloom's taxonomy? The strategy used for QAR is right there.
This is your drink from the Dunkin' Donuts.
And how many, list, what time, name the characters, and everything. Right there. The author said it right there. You don't even have to read
my tomato.
So that is now comparing with that level with level 1 of Bloom's taxonomy, which is
no, you're not giving that.
Cross, and you read that crosswalk. You do that crosswalk. You're going to be very, very much in tune with what I'm telling you. The second step is think and search. And that is I missed level 2. Students will search in several places in the text.
Yeah, he made from my coffee.
When you said right there, that was the second level. I understood it. Now I'm going to search for it. You told me, who was it that was the father? What's the name? Who was the father? What is the name? What were they doing? Who, what, when, where, and how? To bring me to comprehension level, which is level 2, the student will search in several places in the text that I said it's right there, and then I will come up with the answer. So that is the level 2 comprehension. The third level is think and search. Now the teacher says, and this is level 3, which is application for Bloom's taxonomy, but it's level think and search for QAR. It says, I will ask the student to apply, to collect information, to organize the information given, but he has to go back into the script. He has to think, what am I looking for? Okay, well, the runt was born at Charlotte Schwab. The runt was going to be butchered by the farmer because, the runts do take a lot of feeding, etc., but they don't produce any money in the market. And Fern said, no, Dad, no, I will feed Wilbur and all that. So no, they are looking for all that and they're searching for it and they are collecting all the evidence of why Fern got her way of saving Charlotte, of saving Wilbur, right? So that's the gist of it. So the child is applying what she understood or he understood in the reading and then searching to justify his or her response. That's the application level. The other level of Bloom's taxonomy, which is the analysis, is the one, and the analysis and synthesis comes under author, which is the second to the highest. And that's where the child is asked
Why are you
to
playing with my coffee?
debate on the topic, to infer or to solve, to he or she has been given this or
Why you put a little sock on your hand?
and that is the analysis and synthesis. But in QA, it's called author. And then I read what the author said. Now I must put in what I know, what has been in my cognition, what I understand, because I'm a thinking person. I'm not a vegetable. I'm not just a jellyfish sitting to be moved around and say, next step, do this and that. No. I used what was given to me, and now I am going to demonstrate, I will illustrate it, I will calculate its math, I will create, I will compose, I will write about it. I could even debate with you about it, and now, or solve the problem. And then QAR, the highest level, is on my own, which is the evaluative. And that's the level of evaluation tells us, where he will judge, he will rate what the author said, he will rank it, he will defend it, and he will justify it in a critical way, or a way that he accepted what the story's conclusion theme was about. And what comes to
Go
mind?
you go away.
Madame de Poussin in the Pearl, remember when she brought back, she and her husband brought the money to pay for the pearl necklace, and he said, what made you think I was going to give you real pearls and loan you real pearls? And then the evaluative on my own, the child writes and got a 5 for this. She should not have wanted to be what she really is, and she should accept her level of poverty and never make anyone think that she's less than they are going to be at the party. So she deserved what happened to her. And then another child would say, no, the old man had nothing to do with this, had to sell all their possessions to justify, to come up with the money because she wanted to be something she wasn't. So those are the type of on my own responses that we look for in children. It's all about catching them. So as you read through the comparison of QAR and Bloom's taxonomy, I hope it makes a little more sense for you. Okay? Is there any question? I just want to examine this a little bit. Allow me. Right there, story, but this is for a little older children, second or third. What year did President Kennedy announce his goal of sending an American safely to the moon before the end of the decade? What year? In the 60s, right? So if you're reading children's level of when we first sent them to the moon, this would be a question for right there. What year did President Kennedy? So the child just finds the year. Now the think and search level in QAR is, was President Kennedy's dream accomplished by the end of the decade? Well, let's see. In 19 so and so 60 so, it said he was going to send the Americans to the moon. And then, yeah, the story tells us we had to think and search, you know. Yeah, they went just before December so and so. That was the month that they blasted off. And so the author and you is the third level. How do you think the author feels about the exploration of space? Well, if the child only answers, great, tell me more. Why do you say that? Okay, so he's using author and you, but they tend in that level to say because he said so, or yeah, he felt good about that, but tell me how you know that. So you what? Bringing the child into higher thinking and more. And then the other level is on my own. How has your life been impacted because of the research and development created by the space program? How is that helping us? Well, a child who hasn't completed the lesson in social studies with you will not be able to answer it, but hopefully you've explained the impact that sending men to the moon has had in your entire universe. You explain it in their own language, in their own level, because that's a goal. A goal can be stated about teaching children about the impact sending men to the moon for all levels. It's the standards that
Nhưng mà cái hot water
describes the
nè.
level of teaching, the grade level in
Get a
which you
bowl.
teach it, and
Get
actually the
a
adaptation
bowl or
of
a
that
cup and a
goal,
whole hot
but it's all
water.
across to every levels, you see. So the
Just
older
open.
children are doing all more intensive work about sending them to the moon, but at this lower level, we're still teaching to that goal.
That fit your
The
bottle, yo.
standard said, just read the passage with the children,
Does it fit?
so they learn the date that we sent men to the moon, the date that we accomplished it, how
Hot
it has
water.
impacted our world, etc. You see, and that's a little bit more about it. Any questions? Pardon?
I have a question. Does it matter what grade we're trying to teach the lesson plan for? Or do you?
Doesn't matter, but don't go over 7 because you know that's your area of. So we do have a quadrant for the QAR, and I want to be able to send these out, and I will put it in my bag to scan first. Then I'll promise you and my group that does the 415 and my reading
You
group that does
You leave the butter over there
next
on the
group,
table.
because everything is
Not on the
built on the other.
couch.
And I promise that before the end of the semester, I'm going to send you this valuable package that I've used at Northeastern and at Loyola when I am teaching students to be excited about teaching. And you're always going to be a reading teacher, no matter what area of expertise you're in, math, gymnastics, you're still teaching. Everything revolves about reading and around reading. So you are teaching children to learn to learn. See how I'm saying it? To learn how to read critically. Okay? If you don't have any more questions, or any questions I should say, or any concerns, never walk away having a concern. Because I'm not intimidating. You've never, as you've got to know me. I'm here to teach and to share with you and to make you enjoy wanting to become a teacher. So you don't have that much assignment if you notice. I don't build up too much busy work for you. But right now, be curious enough to go read about Bloom's taxonomy, get those verbs that you're going to be using to the keywords to introduce questions. Have 2 of each, 2 at the knowledge, 2 comprehension, 2 at the application, 2 analysis, 2 evaluative. You'll be fine. And you're training yourself.
Stop it, you.
And then if you can read what I sent with QAR, and as I send it right now, I will keep my promise.
Close this mountain. Go
Open
watch
up
your YouTube and go to
template for
class.
so that I can actually send the screenshot to you in D2 and in okay. If you have nothing else, I think everyone is here, but let me double check again. I don't want to miss out on just in your attendance. I don't like doing this, but I have to. Alondra, are you with us?
Yes, Professor.
Have a beautiful day. Thank you. Yesenia?
Bye. Have a good day.
Hey, Mandy. Thank you, dear. Mandy? Mandy?
I'm here.
Diana?
I'm here.
Evie? Latoya?
Yeah.
Victoria? Evie, are you with us?
Yes, hi, present.
Okay. Victoria?
I'm here.
Sarah? Ariel?
Here.
Jensen and Hannah. Have a beautiful and stay safe. I'm moving into sending you that lesson plan template. Okay. Have a beautiful day. Thanks for joining me today.
Happy.
Thanks, Professor.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye. Thank you.
Oh, Professor, I had a quick question.
Sure.
For the lesson plan, does it have to involve motor skills?
I would. You know what? Just holding a pencil and drawing and creating or putting sticks together or cutouts together. That's motor skills. That's your fine motor skill. Every and that's part of the senses, using the tactile, the touching the, yeah. And I'm glad because you're not into retail, so thank you for asking that. Anything you engage them in doing, using hands, using the movements, or standing and acting out a song, or pretending that they're the kangaroo. Those are using the gross motor skills are when they're climbing, they're running, they're jumping, they're, you understand that, right? When they up in the playground.
Another question is that so for my lesson plan, I kind of wanted to incorporate music in it because I'm also a musician. So maybe
Perfect.
like I could play a guitar and then read them from the children's book.
Definitely. And as they're singing, what are they going to be doing with their bodies? They're going to be moving?
Yeah, I was planning like so if like at a certain melody of a guitar, like they'll be doing one action, but when I change the melody, they'll be doing a different action, something like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be.
That's using your motor skills right there, their movements, right?
Oh, okay.
Okay, good. Where did you get that picture from? It's like
I got it a movie that the Cat in the Hat movie. I don't know.
The Cat in the Hat. Okay. Oh, okay. I never remember seeing that.
What you want? Hiya, double flash, what you want? Go away!
We're done for now.
You better go to bed.